Hey, good morning, Squadron, and welcome to the On Time, On Target, a morning brief where we invest with fighter pilot precision every day. Have a great show for you this morning, coming off of a fantastic week last week. Not only performance in the market continued up last week, but I also had a couple side ventures that went really well. A couple new names in the room today. So welcome to the Squadron. Thanks for checking us out. And what we're going to talk about today is what's huge in the news. We have the IHS market merger, which is one of the largest out there. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and that'll be one of our longs for today. Excuse me. We'll also talk about Moderna and the vaccine and how vaccine news is starting to play out and how there's kind of some optimism going forward with the vaccine news. And of course, last one we'll talk about the electric vehicles market has been on fire. Nikola and Trevor Milton, I believe is his name, the former CEO, that they finally crashed and burned this weekend. So GM put out a document either late last night or early this morning talking specifically about if you remember the whole Badger, and I remember showing you on the website, this is the EV truck they plan. Excuse me. It's going to be amazing. It's not going to happen. The all stock deal is completely off, so that stock is actually crashing right now. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute. So if you're catching us on replay, please go ahead and hit subscribe so you get notifications. And if you want to join us live, it's $25 a month. Reach out through OTOTnow.com. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back again. I just put in the chat room there, excuse me, the longs and shorts that we're going through today. And yes, I am coughing, have a ton of water I'm trying to drink to get rid of that cough, but it's allergies, not the COVID. And I go through it every time this time of year. So, all right, let's go back to the morning brief. First of all, I encourage you to use a call sign in the chat room for the new folks out there. If you don't, I can't make you. But make sure you have both the chat room and the Q&A windows open, and you have it set to all attendees. So if you do say something in the chat, don't see the chat tickers. Thank you, Burner. Let me hit enter on the thing I have there. So there you go. There's the appreciate that input. So there's the long and the short, so we're going to be taking a look at today. Excuse me, standard disclaimer applies. This is an educational presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence before you act upon anything you hear in this presentation. Full disclaimer is available at OTOTnow.com. All right, our mission objectives today are going to be grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Well, primarily we're focusing on grow our money today by getting out of Nikola and leaving it for dead. We're talking about there's two things that happened, the GM thing plus the lockup period expiration from their IPO is also today, and their founder has vowed that he's going to, and former CEO, is going to sell all of his shares, which that alone would crash the stock if that's true. So who knows what he's actually going to do. That would be dumb to announce that and then do it, because you'd just be costing yourself a ton of money. So I don't care how angry you are, you probably shouldn't just cost yourself a ton of money, but he can do whatever he wants. So it's already fallen below the 10% level. So I'm probably not going to short it myself, but we're certainly going to have that chart up and taking a look at it today. All right, let's see. As far as the question of the day, we'll talk about a lockup period and what that is. I'll bring it up on Investopedia because there are a couple new IPOs coming out. And if you're going to play the IPO game, you definitely need to understand the lockout period. Okay, for our flow, we're going to go long, short, open, short, long. We're going to talk about the market review, where we've been last week, headlines of today, and where I think the market is going to go this week. Remember, this is the last day of the month. It is a record-setting month. You'll probably see that in the headlines. Sometimes there's funny things that happen on the last day of the month as money managers position themselves for end of month closeout. I don't really do that. I do that some at the end of the quarter out of necessity, but most end of the month, I don't move a whole lot, but we shall see. As far as our long-term investments, since we're talking about Nikola, we will talk about all the competitors as well. So Tesla, NEOLI, XPEV, and of course the ETF that's associated with it, which is called Drive. We'll get into the short-term execution, execute the market open, and then answer your questions as well as the question of the day. If you have any contingencies, contact me through steve@otot.now. ototnow.com. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at where we've been as a market. Okay, there's the TD Ameritrade screen. So that's the 1 year of the SPY. So again, the S&P 500 is what you're looking at here, even though it's not at the top. You don't see it there, but this is that dip we had back in March when the onset of the pandemic. And then you saw, pretty much a V-type shaped recovery all the way up into some volatility going into the election, and then bouncing off new highs basically after the election. So is it really the election? No, it's this vaccine, which is the name of the game, right? So the vaccine is going to take us higher. There's also, I do think we're going to see some stimulus finally in the next probably week or so. We'll see. But certainly some small business stimulus, more focused on really the people that need it, not necessarily mailing everybody a check again for Christmas. So we'll see how it works out. But as you zoom in on how did the market act last week, remember, it's a 4-day trading week. So this is your Monday. So Monday started down and then went up with an optimism into Tuesday. Wednesday was pretty well flat. Friday, you can pretty much call it flat as well. I do think you see some optimism trending higher going into the open today. I think it's going to look a little bit like Monday and Tuesday last week. I think we go higher. Everybody's talking about vaccine, and as long as it seems to be true, we're going to start laying down. I think this week, you're going to hear the vaccine laydown plan, right? Of how are we going to get this out to folks? Who are the priorities? I think people are really going to start talking about that. And then if you didn't see the one meme that I put on my Facebook page about Chick-fil-A, if Chick-fil-A runs the vaccination program, we could have everybody vaccinated in basically one day across the nation because of their epic drive-through. But we'll still see. So I think there's going to be some optimism in the air, even though right now, as we leave this chart, we'll come back to our day trades, but as we leave this chart and go over to Google to take out CNBC.com, you can see we're in the red for the Dow and the S&P, NASDAQ in the green. I think it's going to be green all day that's how I think it's going to go down. All right, so let's go around the world real quick and see how this week is starting. Europe mixed, not a whole lot going on. Asia red across the board. Okay, manufacturing grew. You would think it'd be in the green there, but all right. Here's our numbers from Friday. Friday was a low volatility or a low volume day, so you don't put a lot, behind those numbers. Bonds looking pretty good across the board. Oil holding that 45 level, and big debate going on that was in the news earlier. If OPEC can act together, then it might reduce some output and into 2021 and set themselves up for success. Gold sold off with Bitcoin. So gold sold off last week about 5%. The Bitcoin, I did some poor math on Friday when I said it sold off 6%. It didn't. It sold off 15%. It went from 20,000 basically to 17, which is 3,000 times 5. That's 15, not 6. So pretty big move down last week, and it has also bounced, as you can see, coming back, not quite all the way, but certainly a significant move back up in Bitcoin over the weekend. All right, let's go back to our headlines for today and see what we have going on. Best month, I said it's a historic month, so best month since 1987. That's pretty exciting. Again, right after a contentious election, which I guess is still technically being contentious, but I think less so every day, if you will. All right, big news, obviously Moderna saying that they could, 94% effective. Emergency funding is what they're asking for today. Pfizer's talking about, we'll see if we see it here, but Pfizer's talking about how many units they can deploy, how quickly. So all good things as far as the vaccine. Personal choice whether you take this thing or not. Certainly, if you're like me and fairly healthy and middle-aged, if you will, not super high threat, so I want everybody else to get it first. But certainly when it rolls around in my time, I'm in, I'll take it. I survived anthrax, I can survive whatever the vaccine is here. It might actually cover it too. Anthrax is pretty nasty. Covers things that didn't even know it existed yet. Okay, best month in over 33 years. We talked about that. So two big IPOs coming up. This one was just announced. So DoorDash is kind of capitalizing, and this is why I have question marks with this IPO, is they're kind of capitalizing on the fact that they're hot right now because of the stay-at-home protocols that we're on. And they're kind of getting fancy with their IPO. There's several different types of maneuvering their IPO. I am broadcasting UBS Bank Wealth Management. I don't know what that means. If that's an ad that's running, let me kill FinViz, which generally is the ad that's running in the background. So Burner, thank you. Let me know. There, maybe that was the issue there. Let me know if it's fixed. Sorry about that, everybody, for the confusion. Okay, where were we here? So DoorDash and the IPO. Nope, did not finish that. All right, let's stop the share and reinitiate the share. Oh, I see what happened. Thank you for that input. All right, let's kill that other screen while I regroup for just a second. Kill that. Okay, now we are good. So yes, thanks for bringing that up. Here's the initial page we're on. Okay, so the DoorDash IPO, they're getting a little bit fancy with this, and I don't really care for it, so I'll probably take a pass. Plus, I don't know that it's that hard to compete with the DoorDash business model. I mean, can't really anybody do that. I don't know what they have that would prevent a competitor coming in and doing the same thing. So probably pass, but we'll certainly keep an eye on it. And the other one's the Airbnb. That business model is a little bit challenged under the pandemic environment, but certainly if the pandemic goes away by either late next year or the summer of 2022, the Airbnb business model will be on fire. Okay. Here's that IPO I talked about talked about earlier, merger. It's the IHS Markit merger, $44 billion mega deal. That's one of the longs we'll take a look at. The ticker is INFO. Here's the Nikola share sliding after GM gives up equity stake in smaller reworked deal. So that is what's causing the stock to be down. This is 7%. I think that's a delayed number, but we'll check out the real number here in a second. Okay, as far as, let's bring FinViz back up and I'll show you where the Nikola stock has been. NKLA. Okay, so here's the house of pain that this thing was. It came out of, I believe it was a SPAC back in the day, climbed all the way up, hit almost 100. It was the only stock to have. They announced the GM deal, it went screaming higher. So from after the screaming higher deal, they went into, well, it's probably not all that good. And then they ousted the short seller, came in and said, this is a house of cards. The CEO is basically making all this up. There's no way they could deliver on any of it. And the stock market started to crash, or the stock started to crash. And somewhere in there, it built back up. And then they actually kicked out the CEO. So it's really been a house of pain. It's all the way down here at 27.93. It's even lower than that right now, I believe. But that's where it closed Friday. So this news came out this morning. Everybody was waiting on GM to finally say something, and when they said something, the stock actually popped. I have it written down under my longs, Nikola plus 10%, because it popped right away. And then they started getting into what does this thing actually say, and it says that, okay, we're not going to do any of the equity with it. So here's where we are right now. Again, 27.93, and it's selling off below that on another screen here. Okay, so you look at all the other names that are going up. So Tesla straight up, NIO straight up, Lee straight up, XPEV straight up. If you just took the ETF, you're pretty happy. You know, it's all of it put together going straight up. But when you're looking at Nikola, when you go to the, here's where it is right now, closed 27.93. It's actually down at 21. So pretty harsh sell-off, 22.38% if you look off to the right side. Again, it's a clear short. I'm not going to take it because it doesn't fit our strategy of going short here, because it's gone too far. But yeah, it's in free fall. I really don't know who's going to buy it today. One that's going long today, based off of the vaccine news, it's also out of the window, so we're not going to take that either, is mRNA. What we are going to take a look at today is AFA, or excuse me, the first one is the info, which is the market IHS deal that went through. So plenty of volume, is at 92 going up to 98. So good dollar stop there on going to the upside for info. We're also going to take a look at Afria, which bought a craft brewery. Let's see, the name of it is Sweetwater Brewery. And they're doing a whole bunch of cannabis infused drinks. So this is kind of a marijuana play going higher. If you believe that the new administration is going to relax marijuana rules, and I think that is the case, then this is positioned to go higher. I think this is a big enough news story to move it higher even today. So it was at 773, it's up at 813. 10-cent stop maybe if we can get it to a nice smooth entry on it. Plenty of volume going higher. A sympathetic with that is Tilray, which is very popular with the Robinhood crew, because everybody knows that name. The reason I like it is because it is gapping up to from 850 to 9. And if you say marijuana name to somebody younger than 25 on Robinhood, they think Tilray, right? So I think Tilray is being bought here as well. So we'll take a look at that long. Probably AFA or Tilray for me is what I'm looking to put my money behind this morning. Let's see, mRNA is up too much. And then the only other, if you're dying to short, would be Invax. Their vaccine is not working, so it's at 125 down to 120. So selling off, let's see, almost 5%. So plenty of volume there to the downside. So that would be an option if you want to take that. I am not going to take that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move over to our day trading screens. Here we go. We have 4 of them set up. We have, again, the SPY, and then all 3 longs that are here. You have info, which is that IHS market deal, dollar stop, and then both Afria and Tilray are going to be about a 10-cent stop. So plan your size accordingly. These are all longs. And then we'll switch and take a look at the Nikola short once things get going. All right, I need a second to set up my tickers here. All right, again, I'm set up for all 3 of these. I'm really looking at APHA as my primary, but I've got tickers open for all of them just in case that's one I like the best. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time On Target play of the day. You have 4 screens in front of you off the TDA ThinkPipes platform. You have on the far left screen the SPY, which is the S&P 500. So you can see the 1-minute chart there as the market opens. Again, it's kind of trending more positive as we get closer. We have info, which is the IHS market merger, taking that long, looks like a dollar stop or so. We have Afria, we'll be taking that long, again, 10-cent stop if we can get it. And then same thing with Tilray, another marijuana name. There's our opening bell. So we'll go ahead, and it would be nice if we get a little sell-off before these things flip back along. I'm looking at Afria right now. If it comes back up to go 810. And then we'll use $8 as our stop. Again, we're going long, so getting ready for the 810 there. Again, going back higher. Watching Tilray as well. That's going to give us a pretty good endpoint on, or entry point on Tilray, but we're looking at Afria. As long as it holds $8, then we'll keep this 810 and then use 8 as our stop. If it doesn't, though, then we'll reset lower. Okay, there's $8. So let's go 808 is our entry higher. Again, 10-cent stop. So it would take us down to 798. Info starting to move up. All right, again, we're looking at 808 entry on Afria. There we go. There's your entry point. So get that in. And again, it's 798 is the stop. So make sure you have that set up. Get mine in here, and I'll be back to drawing on the screen. All right, everything's set up for me. So 818 is our first R. So again, we're going long. Get the arrow in here. If it lets me draw it. 808 was your entry. So it's, but the 10 cent is going to be 838. It's going to be the exit that we're looking for. All right, we will get rid of that and zoom back in. We are going long here. Here's where we took it. So it's already up at the 1R point. Tilray is not working. That's kind of fallen pretty quick. I'm pretty surprised about that. So I'm not going to take that. But let's look at Nikola. See how hard this thing's fallen. So it's at 20%. Ooh, this is kind of interesting. If this backs up, see how high I would have to back up. If this backs up above 2240, you can short it here. All right, we're almost at 2 R's on our trade. So there's the 2R level. So again, here was the arrow up. See if it lets me finish my arrow. It's not going to want to let me finish. So get ready for the exit now. 838 is your exit. All right, that's it. I'm out. Once I click the mouse here. Giving me gripes, so hold on a second. All right, stand by. Got a little fire going on with my own trades here. Why are you not selling? There we go. Finally went through. All right, that cost me a little bit. It looks like it went through at 833 instead of 838. So a little bit beaked about that. So again, we hit the exit point, the 3R fine, just fine. So nice, beautiful trade there. Cost me a few $100s there. Don't care for that. I haven't seen that before, so I'm not all that worried about it. Yeah, 833 is the exit. So 2.5R for me on the crappy exit. So all right, I'll stop crying about that. Okay, overall, let's review that trade real quick. We took it at 808. Again, we waited. We were very patient. We were going to take it 810. We waited for 808 because we wanted to give ourselves a 2-cent stop below the low of the day, just for a little buffer. Once it flipped back long, we took it in here, got it right at 808, and then went up 1, 2, and 3x our money. And then the exit, again, mine was not pristine because it wasn't taking it for some reason. But now I'm out, and I would stay out of this all day. All right. Yeah, this thing I think continues to fall all day as far as NKLA. I don't know who's going to buy it here, but I'm not going to hop in and short it. You could. I'm not going to. All right. Info, did it work? No, I mean, it's up, but it's not really that. It was going to be a dollar stop. So you would have to be in at about 98.40. So up here would be your 1R. So it really hasn't made its move yet. Me too. Are you talking about your exit there, Burner? Was it a crap? Get hung up on the exit? Yeah, you can comment on that. Let's see what else we have here. Invax was a short. Invax did not go short, so that would have bust. So you would never be able to take it because this is a short. So that's why no matter how convinced you are, if it starts flipping against you, you just don't take it, right? So yes, on the exit. Okay, well, if you made money, 2.5R were my numbers, but even though we got a clear 3R trade, so kind of crappy. Okay, I said I would stop crying about that, but I don't like when things cost me money. Okay, let's see. We talked Tilray info. Aurora Cannabis is a name. That is another pot name that's going long, so up 5.6% or so. Invax is flipping long, so we'll go and put Tilray back in here. So see the Afri is still going higher, so nice trade there. So good entry. All right, let's see what else. We'll go over to, since we're out of our trade, see what's going on in the rest of the market. Here's your Moderna. That's up 17% today, again, off of the news. Let's see. Palantir is still on fire. Oh my gosh, I need to get in and start trimming today. This is crazy. So it's given us 30. Most of us were in at 10. So expect to sell about, if I might have already sold 20% of your, depending on how big you had, big a position you had. But I mean, this was crazy going into yesterday or Friday. But the anyhow, an exit here in the 30s, just shaving a little bit off. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, here's another SPAC. This is Bill Ackman's SPAC. We've been talking about this. Is the Pershing Square Tontine Holdings. It's on fire. Something must be in play. BioNTech is the German pharmaceutical firm that is partnered with Pfizer for Operation Warp Speed. MongoDB is tech. LCA, I think, switches tomorrow to GNOG, so there will not be any more LCA. I'm either going to blow out of that today or tomorrow. I may hold a little bit of it, but I'm not going to hold it as nearly as much as I have right now. So overall, there's Apple. I see up over 1%. Apple's really been kind of selling off, so be patient. Don't get itching to sell your Apple. It's fine. All right, let's look in the red. Nikola down at 20%. That's actually above where it was a little bit ago, right? Hyliion is Shell. That's another EV company. Clickstream down a little bit. Coal's going into Christmas. Let's look at Coal's. Coal's might be back to a buy again. Not really. I guess maybe if they got down here to the 28 level or so, then it'd be time to load up. So don't know what the headline is off of Coal's. Baba and a lot of the Chinese tech, which you're seeing here, K-Web, all of those names are a little bit in the news from a regulation standpoint. So just kind of let the dust settle. I'm a big buyer of K-Web, and I think Baba is probably the best, the most least risk, highest reward of every single stock out there that I follow right now. Baba is the one to buy, in my opinion. So that's why you're going to see me buying more of it today. All right, that is what I've got. Let's go ahead and look at the screen one last time. Oh man, look at this. So 848 would have been 4R. 858 would have been 5R. Didn't quite touch the 5R point. So overall, real nice trade, nice headline to go with it. There's your 5-hour point. So just keeps going higher. Yeah, if you kept it, I did not keep any of this because I was pissy with my exit. I wouldn't have kept any anyway. It moved up what all 3 are in 3 minutes. I'll take that. But if you held any, I would certainly be out of it now. Okay, let's go over to Chrome, and then I will close out before my voice gives up. Excuse me. Okay, so back on video here. What is a lockup period? So when you have an IPO, so like today is Nikola's lockup period. So when you have an IPO, for all the reasons we're going to go through here, they make the people that are initially in on the IPO, which can include you, it's definitely the founders and all those folks that are behind it, and the big chunks that the banks buy, and they don't care. So like if you think, we'll talk Schwab buys, probably 100,000 shares of every IPO to loan it out to you so you can short it. That's right. So they buy the shares. They don't care. If stock goes down, it goes down. It doesn't matter. They're making all their money by loaning you the shares. You can short it. You can go long. Doesn't really matter. Blah blah blah. Do your thing, and they get to charge you, the extra money for doing that. So they buy these huge positions out there and basically just sit on them and have it available for you. Well, they're also included in the lockup period, which they don't care because they don't have any intent of selling. So let's look at the definition here. Lockup period, window of time, and investors are not allowed to redeem or sell. Okay. Hedge funds, okay. Startups, blah, blah. Let's go to the key takeaways. Cannot sell, used to preserve liquidity and maintain market stability. So you kind of manage the float, if you've heard that term. So if there's 100,000, 10 million shares and 8 million of them are locked away in the lockup period, that only means there's 2 million in play. So the price can fluctuate a lot more. So it kind of looks like the stock's more in play than it actually is, because you have all these shares that are not being traded. Use and maintain portfolio stability and liquidity. Obviously, if you're running a hedge fund and you go big into an IPO with a large chunk, you can't have all your investors bailing on the next day, right? Because you just bought the thing. Helps everybody out, smooth flow things, and again, helps the IPOs to retain cash, meaning they have their balance sheet with the stocks on their balance sheet as part of their cash position. It shows market resilience, so it's more likely to stay a higher price point because you don't have everybody dumping the shares and realizing their billions that they just made from the IPO. All right, examples, considerations. All right, that is all I'm going to cover with the lockup period. So, all right, well, welcome back to Monday. Again, I think the market trends higher. It's red across the board, but I do think there's enough optimism today that we'll probably flip and go back into the green. Nice day trade in Afria, so glad we got a piece of that. If we didn't get the full amount, that I'll get over it maybe by lunchtime. Maybe not, I don't know. But by tomorrow, I shouldn't be griping about it anymore. But all right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for listening in, and we will catch you guys next time. Have a good week.